this?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a couple of hours now, as Donald Trump was actually the first to take credit for it. But I will bring everyone back to the 31st of May, right here on Bloomberg TV and radio. We were live on Balance of Power when Joe Biden outlined this exact framework. This is 6 months plus old, and it's apparently just now going to be implemented. So that's why he said, is that a joke? Who deserves more credit was the answer, you or Trump, knowing that both teams were working on this. And look, the Donald Trump element here is real. You guys remember last week, the news conference at Mar-a-Lago, he stood there with his Middle East envoy who was talking about progress his team was making with negotiators. And Donald Trump said, remember, all hell will break out in the Middle East if there is not a hostage deal by the time I'm sworn in. So here we are today. Who actually got this to become reality? Joe Biden clearly thinks it is his team that was working on this for months and months. Some of the analysts we've been talking with over the last 2 hours suggest, well, maybe it was kind of a combination of both. Either way, we do have the same framework. The first phase, 6 weeks, it looks like 33 hostages in return for 100 Palestinian prisoners. If they do not get to a permanent ceasefire in that 6 weeks, they just keep rolling. They keep negotiating is the idea here until an exchange of the remaining hostages takes place in phase 2 and then finally reconstruction. This has been a very tenuous situation, though, for months and months. Benjamin Netanyahu has made this very difficult for Joe Biden. So, Carol, to get at last to your question, the timing here is remarkable, and it recalls 1980. Right? Ronald Reagan being sworn in as the Iranian hostages were released, and that's exactly the optic that Donald Trump was hoping for.
In terms of optics, is it, though, significant that President Biden has gotten to go up to the podium and talk about a deal being done versus this happening on perhaps Monday after President-elect Donald Trump is sworn in?
As we remember from back then, it was literally Ronald Reagan's being sworn in as the wheels were turning on this. Yeah, it's a big deal for Joe Biden. This is the one thing he wanted to get done before he left the building. And guys, he had his farewell address scheduled. It still is for tonight at 8 o'clock. He's going to address the American people from the Oval Office. And now he's going to be able to top that speech with the final claim that he was hoping to make as president.
Joe, is it indeed the end of the war, or at least the beginning of the end of the war?
You're asking the right questions. I mean, the on-again, off-again scenario that we've been under here for the better part of 15 months demands that be answered. And after what Antony Blinken told us yesterday, he spoke at the Atlantic Council saying that Hamas has replaced every member of the organization that has been killed by Israel. They have recruited that many members since October 7th, knowing that Israel's repeated attacks and the deaths of civilians in Gaza was a very powerful recruitment tool. We know that albeit weakened Iran still has proxies working in the area. We still have a massive U.S. military presence in the Middle East throughout the Red Sea to try to protect shipping lanes. And the three of us are not going to stop talking about that anytime soon.